But I mean, you got to play who's in front of you. You were doing all that laughing.
I mean, yeah, we go ahead and get the toughest team out the way first. Number one.
And it really don't matter because you seen what we did to Arizona State.
I mean, I'm not expecting a team like Arizona State to really give y'all any comp.
Well, they have 4 McDonald's All Americans.
I mean, that's fine. Them niggas not that good, bro.
I'm just telling you, bro. I'm just telling you facts, nigga.
I'm not
Don't
gonna,
get mad at me. I can't go out there and put the ball in the hole for y'all.
I'm not gonna lie. Arizona State ain't been good since James Harden. I think that's where he went. And I don't even know if they was good when he was there. Notable name that came out of that motherfucker.
What's popping? What's popping? Gonna let everybody hop in.
Why my shit just get blurry out of nowhere?
Gonna give everybody a chance to hop in. We'll get started at 8:10. If you're in here early, thanks so much for being here. We're not gonna go too long tonight. We'll probably end by 9 p.m. Give everybody their Friday night back. Dive into a little bit of the game. Go through a little bit of coverage. Obviously, we know Jonathan Mingo was dealt after we recorded on Monday night and released on Tuesday, so we'll touch on that a little bit, give you guys our instant not instant reactions, but give y'all our reactions, how we feel about the deal, etc. I wanted to touch on Dan Morgan's presser, but we'll wait until Monday to do that. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Turn that bell notification on because we're going to go through that this week and touch a little bit on that presser and just kind of read between the lines together a little bit because there were some things that were said that were kind of unique and kind of telling, in my opinion. But we'll hold off on it for now.
Bro, I gotta fix something. Hold up, bro. Something ain't.
I don't know if YouTube is shadow banning us or what, but we got to have more people in here to get started. So share, do something. QJ, what's happening? QJ said, shout out FPFO, the Panthers, and Sheena Quick for wearing that pink dress on Sunday. Lord have mercy. If y'all ain't see the pink dress, then got to be more careful. Y'all missed the show. Boy, y'all missed the show. If y'all ain't see that pink dress, then y'all missed a show.
Who was wearing the pink dress?
Sheena. Last week. You ain't see it?
Nope.
Good God in the daytime, boy. I wish I might. What Unc say? What Unc say? Unc say, I wish I might. Good God Almighty. Yes, Lord. Shane, shout out to you. What's popping? Hola. Shout out Omar. I know Omar going to tap in. He said he might not catch the live tonight, but he will catch us on the replay. He already got something rolled up. Shout out to Omar. Y'all know we can't get started until Omar let us know he got something rolled up. We need more people in here, bro. We don't got enough people, and I'm not even that type guy. I'm not that type guy, but I don't know if we're getting shadow banned right now or what, but we do not have enough people in here to get started. So shadow share.
People ain't getting a notification.
People must not be getting a notification. People must not be getting notification. YouTube and Twitter must be doing us a little dirty, and for the life of me, I just don't know why. But we will get started in 2 minutes, but I would like to have a couple more people in here before we do.
Yeah, we got 7 people watching.
There we go. There we go. There we go. We got a couple more joining. Shout out to y'all, man. If you're watching already and you're already in here, shout out to you. We appreciate you. I don't want to be dismissive by any stretch of the imagination. We're grateful for everybody that takes time out of their day and spends a couple of minutes or an hour or two with us. We appreciate all of y'all. Again, if you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You can find our socials down below. Tap in with us there if you ever want to kind of, shoot the shit, have a conversation, comment on something that you heard us say on the podcast that you may have disagreed with and you want to have a little debate. The floor is open. The floor is yours. So make sure to tap in with us. We like engagement. That's our biggest thing we want to do here at For Panthers Fans Only and the G2S Network overall is we want to build community. So always feel if you have something to say, then you can always always reach out to us and tap in with us on social media, and we'll get back to you. I promise you. There hasn't really been anybody, I don't think, ever that has DM'd us, whether it be on Twitter, YouTube comments, Instagram, that has commented or DM'd us and we never got back to. So just tap in. Just tap in. We'll get started in about 1 minute. I want to give everybody the opportunity to join that's going to join, and then we'll get rolling. Huge matchup for the Carolina Panthers this week against the New York Giants. Out in Germany, I'm not going to lie, I'm having a big case of FOMO. I've been seeing a lot of people out there on X having a blast in Germany. I saw Tep in the building with the fans yesterday. Luke, Smitty. I think TD is out there. Yep. It seems like Germany is right. It seems like Panther Nation got Germany on fire right now.
Bruh,
oh my Lord!
I'm not gonna lie. Wednesday night, I almost got talked into actually going by a group of people. Let's just say that.
Wow!
I almost got talked into going, like literally having shit up the book and everything.
If you would have done that, I would have came, and I don't know how, but I would have figured it out. No cap.
Like literally, the only thing is she just sold her mind just so bad that the prices was looking great, and she was on the wrong date. And so when we actually went to the actual date, that shit went up like $800 extra dollars.
Oh yeah, hell no. We took our trip, man. We went to Vegas. You seen Duncan out there?
Yeah, I wish we would have planned for this one too, though, bro. I don't know.
We should have planned. We should have planned for this one.
For some reason, I didn't even think about it for real. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, bro, we should have planned for both, bro. Especially because they're so far apart. I mean, it's been what, like a month and a half? This is week 10.
Yeah.
And what you call was week 3. So it's been 7 weeks. We could have made that work, bro. If we would have been saving and doing what we needed to do financially, we could have made that happen. No cap. No cap. We could have made that happen.
I won't miss the next one, even though I don't know when that's gonna be. Gonna be a
minute. It might be sooner. It might be sooner than you think. It might be sooner than you think. I mean, Jacksonville plays out that bitch. Jacksonville plays in London every fucking year. They play in London back-to-back weeks this year. So It might be sooner than you think. It might be sooner than you think. But if you're here, thank you so much for being here. We're going to get started. Like I said, we got a tough matchup this week. I said on the podcast this week that I think that we're probably going to lose to the Giants, but we got some names coming back, some guys getting healthy. DJ Wanham is one of those names. Jordan Fuller is potentially gonna make his return off IR. Jonathan Brooks is another name that is going that may potentially be making his NFL debut on Sunday against the New York Giants at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. We'll go through all of that for sure. Because I want to get your opinion on it, Terrence, because just based on the way we've seen Damani Richardson play, even if Jordan Fuller is healthy, I don't know if you can make that adjustment and change. But that's just me. Like I said, we'll talk about it here within the next couple of minutes. Again, thank you so much for being here. I know there's some people that are just joining that didn't hear what I said earlier. So if you haven't already, make sure to follow, like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure to drop a follow, subscribe, etc. If you're watching on X, thank you so much for being here. Follow. If you're watching on YouTube, again, thank you so much for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn that bell notification on so you can stay up to date with everything that we have going on at the G2S Network, as well as a podcast with For Panthers Fans Only, and Move the Chains with me. So yeah, how you feeling, brother? How you feeling? Friday night. How was your week?
Week was smooth, I guess. It's been a chill week, honestly. But I was ready for the weekend, not gonna lie.
You don't do nothing now, huh? When you on salary, you don't really do shit.
I mean, I don't know where that notion came from, but I mean, if you want to get that off, cool. But the week has been chill. I guess I don't do as much as I used to. I would say that.
Fair enough.
But I was still ready for the weekend. Ty's coming into town, so
okay. Shout out to Ty. How you doing?
Chilling. I mean, I guess he loving Georgia. So yeah, he coming into town. One of my friends is moving into a new house this weekend, so we got that. But But yeah, it's gonna be a chill weekend. I'm chilling, honestly. We play early Sunday morning, so if them niggas piss me off, I can go ahead and get it out the way. Might still have time to make it to church after I, say my words and shit. So we'll
So
see.
ask for forgiveness. Just go immediately to the altar as soon as you walk in. That's the best way to do it. That's the best way to do it. I know from experience. Well, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Before we even hop into the preview, we'll go ahead and talk about the trade that the Carolina Panthers made on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. The deadline. When was the deadline?
Deadline was the 5th.
There we go. So on Tuesday, the Carolina Panthers traded second-year wide receiver Jonathan Mingo for a fourth round pick, to the Dallas Cowboys. How do you feel? React.
I mean, he's sorry as fuck to me. Like that's my initial reaction. I mean, he brings no value to the team, in my opinion. Was really just an extra body because one, Adam Thielen has been hurt. Two, it comes down to them, I guess, kind of deciding on him over Terrace Marshall, in my opinion. And then, when they let Deontay Johnson walk, I guess they didn't have a choice but to really play him. But I mean, all in all, he had his opportunity. Like he played solid and he was solid in training camp. He had every opportunity when Deontay Johnson left. Adam Thielen's not playing. So you have XL, Xavier Coker, Jonathan Mingo. And even before that, Jonathan Mingo was still taking a lot of snaps. So he had every opportunity and didn't make the most of it. So honestly, I don't really care that he's gone and that we was able to get a fourth round pick out of him when we didn't even get that for Deontay Johnson. I mean, how can I really complain?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I totally agree. I think that this is multi-pronged for sure. For me personally, like I said, y'all know, if y'all familiar with the podcast, and Terrence, you'll be able to attest to this as well. Coming out of Ole Miss, I was a huge Jonathan Mingo fan. I thought that he was going to be able to provide some value to this team and to that wide receiver room overall, especially like Terrence mentioned with the trade of Deontay Johnson. I thought that he was going to be able to, kind of take that next step, just with the ball distribution and everything like that. But unfortunately, over the last 2 weeks, he hasn't been able to do that. And when you look at the production that we've gotten from Jalen Coker, I think that made this organization a lot more comfortable. Because I'll be 100% honest with y'all, Jalen Coker looks like the real deal. He does. He looks like the real deal. I believe that the production that they saw from him, the ability to win, the catch radius, the hands, everything from a wide receiver standpoint, I believe Jalen Coker does better, literally, than Jonathan Mingo. And I believe that made this organization comfortable with moving on from Jonathan Mingo. Something interesting that I saw that I really, and honestly, this is on me, just, from a critical thinking standpoint and really just a different perspective ultimately. We talk about how the Carolina Panthers were able to get more value from a trade perspective out of Jonathan Mingo than they were Deontay Johnson. And one thing that we've never touched on the podcast is just the fact that is really based off the contract. So when you look at a guy like Jonathan Mingo that still has 2 years remaining on his contract, it makes a lot of sense that the Carolina Panthers, in my opinion, were able to get a fourth. Now, actually, let me take that back. It makes sense that they were able to get more value for him than Deontay Johnson, because Deontay Johnson does not have a deal done. So wherever he went, unless there was a deal in place before a trade happened, wherever he went, Deontay Johnson was always going to be a rental. When he signed with the Carolina Panthers, he only had 1 year left on his deal. He was going to be a rental for us. We thought that it was going to work out. It ultimately didn't. Just, for whatever reason it didn't. We won't go into it because we have already before. It didn't work out. We get rid of him. And so now the Baltimore Ravens, have him for, the remainder, the last 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks, depending on how well they do in the playoffs. They have him on the roster, but at the end of the day, he is a rental. For Jonathan Mingo, that is not the case. Jonathan Mingo, again, has 2 years remaining on his deal. The Dallas Cowboys, he is a name that came up in their draft process a couple of years back when he was drafted. So it made sense. It made sense for both sides, and it feels good to be on the other end of a deal that feels as though you got the better end of it. When we look at the Deontay Johnson trade, it didn't feel that way. When you look at the CMC trade, it didn't feel that way. When you look at what we gave up for Bryce Young, it has not felt that way. So ultimately, it feels good to be on the other side of a deal where we feel like we got the best of the two um, best of the two sides. That's what I'll say.
And
Um,
I think it comes down to him just not. I just don't think he's good, bro. Because like when you go and look at it, you see the way that Bryce or Andy has been distributing the ball. You see Jatavion Sanders getting touches, David Moore getting touches, Jalen Coker, XL. Like so, if they have the ability to spread the ball around to those that many different receivers, I just find it hard to believe that for whatever reason they were excluding Jonathan Mingo. I just don't
yeah,
think he has the ability to win routes.
yeah, something, and I would totally agree, bro. I would totally agree. Like I said, I mean, I will not hide. If somebody were to say that I was a huge Jonathan Mingo fan and that I believe that's something that's a hill I'm willing to die on, and
Yeah, you would.
ultimately, yeah, I mean that I have to die on it. I have to die on it because he showed me that you know, unfortunately, he just didn't have what it takes for us. Now, that's not to say he won't take another step with the Dallas Cowboys, whether it be this season or next or even the following year. But he just, unfortunately, he just doesn't have what we need. He doesn't have what we need. And for somebody like yourself, Terrence, I can understand why you would say he just isn't good. I mean, look, we had a conversation, and I want to I'm going to take this time out right now to highly, highly encourage, bro. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube because I will say, and this isn't me being biased at all. Like it just happens. It really, really just happens, bro. And I think it's just because like we really be in tune with what's going on, but we really, really be ahead of shit. Like we really have these conversations before they play out. Like if you look at the Deontay Johnson situation, we've had that conversation literally for 3 or 4 months. Same thing with this Jonathan Mingo situation. We talked about what the Carolina Panthers were going to do with Jonathan Mingo. We did. We had that conversation literally on Monday. The episode released on Tuesday at 9 a.m. because it's pre-recorded, and then we launch it. Episode released on Tuesday at 9 a.m. And then a couple of hours later, Jonathan Mingo was traded. So we really be on it. And we had a conversation about Jonathan Mingo and what the Carolina Panthers were going to do with him. And him being cut was an option. It was an option. So the fact that you were able to get value for him, um, and it was good value, a 4th-round pick. Hey, if we look at the Carolina Panthers draft picks coming up in this next draft, they look really, 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 really good. They do. We have a first, we have a second, we have a third, we have 2 4ths, and we have 3 5ths. That is a winning organization. When you have that much draft capital lined up, that's how you start building the foundation for your rebuild. And honestly, based off of what I've seen from this rookie class, I think that Dan Morgan, Brand Tillis, and everybody else involved, including Dave Canales, I think we have a clear-cut plan. I think we have a specific guy that we're looking for. And obviously, like we talked about during the offseason, there are guys that it's going to take a little bit longer to develop. But if we have guys that are going to buy in and that fit the mold for what we're trying to build in Carolina, we will be okay. We will be okay. So cool. That's all I have to say about that. Do you have anything else to say, kind of in wrapping? Or are you good?
Yeah, I mean, I seen the comment Dylan said that said Mingo did provide some value. Where at? I mean, I'm confused. I really like. I'm genuinely confused. I remember him having that one big play against the Saints, and then he fumbled that bitch. But luckily, he ended up getting it back. But other than that, like, what value did he have? Because we didn't have him on the return team, did we?
Not that I'm
He,
aware of.
he wasn't returning punts. He wasn't returning kickoffs. So like, what value did he honestly have other than just another body?
Here we go. 1 sec. 1 second.
And then I think I seen that stat the other day. He was like dead last in like fucking what was it, separation or something like that. You remember
Yeah,
that?
dead last. I think it was like 456, and I think that was based off of like the top two. Well, I don't even remember, but it was like over a span of literally 24 years. I think they said it was from 2000 up to now. But let's look at it because we have people saying, we have Dylan saying that he provides value. If he does provide value, it's very, very minimal. Like, let's just look at the statistics, and this is just from this season, where, mind you, we've talked, and this is why I said, man, I need y'all to like, comment, and subscribe. And it's not for selfish reasons. It's just because if you're a diehard Carolina Panthers fan, or you like staying in tune with Carolina Panthers news, you're doing yourself a huge disservice if you're not tapped into what we have going on, because we've had these conversations. We talked about Jonathan Mingo and how the expectation was gonna be, it was gonna be a lot for him, but he had the opportunity to get a clean slate, because I was one of the ones that was championing for him to get that clean slate, because I said, if y'all do it for Bryce, then y'all have to do it for Mingo, because the conversation came up about Frank Reich and Thomas Brown and the offense changing the amount of times it did and everything like that. And I said, if we give Bryce Young that amount of bail, we have to do the same for a guy like Jonathan Mingo, who has the raw talent, who has the ability to catch passes. His catch radius is solid. And unfortunately, he didn't take that opportunity and run with it. And then when you look at the fact that Adam Thielen got injured and placed on IR, and we haven't seen him for 6 weeks, 7 weeks, it's even nastier. It's even nastier. And then you look at the fact that we traded Deontay Johnson 2 weeks ago, and Jonathan Mingo. Look, let's look at it. 2 catches for 40 yards. Or no, that's not even. Excuse me, that's not even this past week. Look at this. These are the games that we've played without Adam Thielen. Right, the line ends there. It starts with Vegas. And then it goes here. This is just without Adam Thielen. So we're looking at 3, 6, 8, 9 catches for 51, 69. Hold on, wait. My fault. Hold on. So I'm looking at the wrong shit. Let me look up. So 3, 5, 6. That's it. So 6 catches for 61, 62 yards and no touchdowns. That is minimal value. And that is just without Adam Thielen, because then we can look at the games that there's no Adam Thielen and no Deontay Johnson present, which is Denver and New Orleans, and we see 0 catches for 0 yards on 4 targets. That is the problem.
And I just think I think it's simply he's not getting open. Like, I don't want people to look at those targets and be like, oh, damn, they ain't even throwing on the ball. No, I just think he has the inability to win routes. I just don't think he gets open.
QJ said Mingo's route running worse than Spencer James from All-American. Damn. Damn. Yeah. I mean, look, like I said, I've been a huge proponent for Jonathan Mingo, and I've been a huge cheerleader of Jonathan Mingo's for a while. Specifically since he's been with the Carolina Panthers. And unfortunately, like I said, he just didn't take advantage of the opportunities that he had. It's the same. I mean, really, it's the same conversation that we had over the summer about Terrace Marshall Jr. It is. We said that Terrace Marshall Jr. was going into year 4. We said he's had ample amount of time to show us something in the regular season in actual game play, and he has yet to do that. And everybody was defending Terrace Marshall Jr. being cut. I was actually championing for him to still be on the roster, because I wanted to carry a couple of more receivers than we intended to do as an organization. I thought Terrace Marshall Jr. had a phenomenal camp, and y'all continue to tell me that it was a bad idea. He had no value. He didn't have what it takes to be a receiver in the NFL, et cetera, et cetera. So now we have to keep the same energy with Jonathan Mingo, love him or hate him. Like, it's just that fact. That is just a fact. 12 catches for 126 yards and 0 touchdowns in 10 games of play. That's an atrocity.
It's just not going to do it.
It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. So, shout out to the Dallas Cowboys. We appreciate y'all. We found our goofy. We did. And, I mean, I can just only imagine what things would have looked like if we were able to hold on to Deontay Johnson just for a couple of minutes longer, and we were able to start a bidding war between Baltimore and Houston, because then we would be sitting high. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into it. Like I've mentioned a couple of times, just to kind of kick our game preview off for Week 10, we have about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna try and wrap up and not be as long-winded as I have been over the last 6 minutes. So we'll go 30 or 40 more minutes and we'll wrap up and we'll get y'all out of here. The New York Giants, the New York Giants are very, very unique to me. They're very, very unique to me. Now I've watched, obviously this week I watched a little bit of film. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all and say that I've watched a significant amount of film on the New York Giants. But what I will say is I have seen and watched the New York Giants play a couple of games. I've probably watched 4 or 5 New York Giants games this year. And I think their record, I think their record doesn't do them justice, to be quite honest. That's just my opinion. Now, I don't believe the New York Giants are a phenomenal team by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, look, they're sitting at 2-7 like the Carolina Panthers. So is this game winnable? Absolutely. But I feel like the New York Giants have been just a couple of ball bounces away from, that record being 2-7 to potentially 4-5 or even 5-4 if you look at just some of the games that they've had. So this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a competitive game. I really, really liked what I saw from the Carolina Panthers in terms of resilience last year, or in terms of resilience last week against the New Orleans Saints. But the Panthers didn't play that well last week. The Panthers did not play that well last week, specifically if you look at the defensive side of the ball. I mean, the New Orleans Saints outgained us by 150 yards. They dominated in time of possession. They won the turnover battle. Like the Carolina Panthers did not play well last week at all. They played well enough to win the football game, which ultimately in the NFL, that's all you want to do. But this is still a team with a lot of problems and a lot of holes that need to be filled. Pause. And playing a team like the New York Giants is going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
I say outside of the defensive aspect, we definitely didn't play well last week at all, but still found a way to win the game. But if you compare kind of like the skill position players from the Saints to the Giants, what makes you think that this is not a game that, could potentially end the same way? Like, obviously Malik Neighbors is a better wide receiver than anybody the Saints has.
And we stretched Chris Olave very, very early.
But nobody on the Giants is as the caliber of Alvin Kamara. And I also think that
let's not speed past that.
Who? Tyrone Lacey?
Or Tyrone Tracy? He been toting that hole.
That nigga is not better than AK, bro.
No. Don't misconstrue my words and don't try and create a narrative, because that's not what I'm saying.
What? So
what I'm telling you is that nigga is nice, no matter how you want to slice it. He's raw.
He's nice, but he doesn't have the ability to affect the passing game and the run game as well as Alvin Kamara. He just doesn't.
No, he doesn't. I'd agree with that.
He just doesn't. And so I think, and then also, I personally think Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. Now, I know some people might disagree, but if you just look at Daniel Jones, I mean, he's sorry, bro. That's the reason that I think that we have a chance to win this game, is because he's going to get that bitch up. And I had to watch a whole half of the game against Washington because I had Wan'Dale Robinson on my fantasy team starting. And I had to watch Daniel Jones have 6 yards passing in the first half. To me, that's just fucking nasty, bro. It just really is. And so I think with those things, we definitely have a chance to win this ball game for sure. But I do think the Giants' defense, specifically their defensive line, is a little different.
Is a problem, and that's where shit kind of gets a little sticky.
And I'm not gonna say that because of Brian Burns either.
Personally. Absolutely not.
Because
why would you? Why would you?
I just wanted to put that out there. I don't think he's a factor into why their defensive line is like that. Because I think he gets a lot of the cleanup sacks that Dexter Lawrence kind of, causes havoc with. So.
And it's not just Dex though. That's the thing. They're deep as hell. It's not just Dex for real. Elijah, that nigga, he be cooking. Who's the other D tackle that they got? They got a D tackle that be wreaking havoc.
I gotta look.
Hold up, I'm trying to find his name. Nah, there it go. Bobby, the linebacker. Bobby, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Or Keiki, or Keriki,
We
whatever the
respect
fuck, between him, Dex, and Bro, yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. And when you look at the fact that Ikem Ekwonu will be out for his second week consecutively, when you look at the fact that we're playing now, I will give Brady Christensen some credit because he has been holding shit down. Same thing with K Mays. They've been holding shit down. Matter of fact, I saw a crazy stat. I think it was about Brady Christensen. Who's been playing? Who's been playing center for us? Why am I blazing on that?
What's bro's
Has
name?
it been Brady? Has it been Brady or has it been Cade? Everybody just relax in the chat because I know y'all are probably tweaking out. I'm looking it up right now because this nigga was ranked number 1 based on PFF. Yeah, Brady. Hold up. No, Brady has been. Yeah, Brady has been playing center, and Brady, I was looking earlier based off PFF, he was ranked number 1 in center over the time that he's been starting in pass pro. So, you know, it's gonna be listen. That Carolina Panthers offensive line is special, bro. And I
Yeah,
don't know if it's a schematical thing, but the addition of Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt has just been tremendous.
yeah. I mean, and that's something that we kind of talked about the other day, where you was just naming out, oh, they got this, they got that, they got this on the defensive line. But it's like, I mean, we also revamped our offensive line to the point where, I mean, it's damn near unrecognizable compared to last year.
And you
And
said that.
yeah, and so it's like, I mean, as much credit as you can give their defensive line, we can give the same credit to our offensive line and go into this game feeling okay. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I think it'll be a close ball game, but I mean, I just don't have faith in the Giants, bro. They're just sorry, and I know we're sorry too, but at the same time, it's just like,
It feels different.
yeah,
And Dylan put that on Twitter the other day. I saw he tweeted on behalf of FPFO the other day. He said, like, look, I know that we have literally the same exact record this year that we had last year, but something about it just feels different. And then for him to come out, for Dylan to come out and make that tweet, and then for today, I don't know if you saw this yet, but you saw JC Horn, and he pretty much was saying, hey, niggas got to stand on business because we've been hearing all the whispers, we've been hearing all the noise, but trust and believe we about to turn this thing around, and it may not be this year, but it's very, very close, and keep the same energy. So when you start hearing guys talk like that, it seems like there's been, I don't know why. Maybe it's because we got rid of Deontay, and maybe he was playing a role behind the scenes that we just didn't see. Which I don't necessarily believe that that's the case just because I haven't seen it. I saw Sheena and Vashti both come to his defense when people were making those accusations when we traded them. But there are things that they don't see either, right? So I don't know what it is. I don't know
Chuba
if it's
said the
because
same thing too, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, and I don't. And again, he's going to be a big part of our game plan this week as well. And I mean, we'll touch on that since we're here. Chuba Hubbard gets paid. Something else that we've talked about. This is if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. I'm not being biased. I'm not being biased. I'm telling you, there are a lot of content creators in this space, and a lot of people approach the content creation game completely different than we do. And I respect and admire all of them because I understand the work that it takes. But there are also a lot of conversations that we have way ahead of time that a lot of other content creators don't. And that's not to shit on them or anything like that. It's just niggas be in tune, bro. And we talked about Chuba Hubbard and what the Carolina Panthers were going to do with him, right? And so when 2 or 3 weeks ago, when we saw the Carolina Panthers after the year Chuba Hubbard has been having, when we saw the report that the Carolina Panthers will not be listening to deals or requests regarding Chuba Hubbard or JC Horn, we immediately called the fact that Chuba Hubbard was going to get paid. And that's what he did. What did he get? 4 how much? 23? Is that accurate? Let's not guess. Let me speak in fact.
Because I mean, it was damn near to the point you had to pay him really because I
4
mean,
for 33. 4 for
yeah,
33, 15 million guaranteed.
he's been one of your only bright spots this season. I mean, not one of your only, but he's been like, the driving horse of the offense. And then
Absolutely.
if you just think about like what you can have with Chuba Hubbard, if Jonathan Brooks is what we believe him to be or what they believe him to be by taking him in the second over a cornerback, hate to keep bringing that up, but that's just the fact of the matter of what happened, then this can kind of
1000%.
take you back to I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but this can kind of take you back to the D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart days. Uh, we were able to we seen a little bit of that when it came to Chuba and Deontay Foreman. Like we seen the way that looked as well. So I mean, if this doesn't tell you anything, it should tell you that Carolina does a little something when there's two-headed monsters in the backfield. And then when we got the offensive line that we have, like I mean, and Dave Canales really wants to put an emphasis on the run game, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. So why not sign Chuba to
Yeah.
a long-term deal?
Yeah, 1000%. And listen, a lot of people, because I know a lot of y'all are new. A lot of y'all aren't really too familiar with our content, and we don't really have many people. We have a good amount, but we don't have many people that have been rocking with us for years. Like, you know what I'm saying? What are we, Terrence? You joined this 3 seasons ago? So, 3 seasons ago, Terrence joins, been going like 4.5 or 3.5, 4 seasons strong. A lot of y'all people aren't from that time. But there was a time last year during training camp that I was calling for Chuba Hubbard to be cut. And I was saying that Chuba Hubbard might be running back 3 or 4. And boy, did I fuck that one off.
Yeah, because you have Raheem Blackshear in front of him.
Miles.
Who
I was saying he was running back 3.
Yeah.
I was saying he was running back 3 because I said Miles was undoubtedly running back 1, and Raheem, based on what I've seen in training camp, was running back 2. And boy, did I fuck that up. And to be quite honest with you, I would rather fuck it up with a guy like Chuba Hubbard than anybody else. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because I've stated multiple times since the summer that Chuba Hubbard may potentially be the hardest working dude on the Carolina Panthers roster. And literally everybody has echoed that sentiment. Like the amount of work that Chuba Hubbard has put in to get to where he is now, it really just shows you how things are built properly. Like this is Chuba Hubbard really, honestly, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm sure somebody will be able to dispute it. But I'm gonna say it either way. But I would say like this is probably one of the only rookies in the last 4-5 years that has been a perfect example of what you want to happen from your mid-round guys as it pertains to the Carolina Panthers organization. You draft Chuba Hubbard in the 3rd or 4th round, maybe even 5th. I don't know off the top of my head. But he came in with Matt Rule and that regime. And every single year, Chuba Hubbard has done nothing but work his ass off to get to the level and to the point that he is now. And that's special, bro. That's special. Those are the type stories and type guys you want to have filled
4th round, 126.
Yeah, like that's what you need. That's what you need. Like that is the expectation and that is the blueprint. Because when you actually work your ass off, like Chuba Hubbard has shown, at the end of the day, there is gold at the end of the rainbow, bro. For sure. And there's the light at the end of the tunnel. Like honestly, no cap. Like so, yeah. Like I totally agree with what you're saying about the fact that we had no choice but to pay Chuba. And to me, I felt like it was inevitable. The same thing with JC Horn. I know a lot of people have talked about JC Horn getting his money next and things like that. Just give it time. Just give it time.
Yeah.
I think JC Horn he's gonna want more than Chuba Hubbard, and those markets are totally different. And JC Horn, he has, in my opinion, he has the right and the ability to demand a little bit more from Chuba because Chuba's success was progressive. JC Horn has always been special. The thing that we worry about with him is just his health. And honestly, this year has been one of the better years that I've seen from JC Horn overall. No cap.
And I want to go back to the Chuba Hubbard thing. Do you remember when we traded Christian McCaffrey? Was it 22?
It was like a game. It was a game or two after we fired Matt Rule. So Yeah, I think 22 because this is 24 with Canales. Last year was 23 with Frank and 22. Yeah, it was 22.
Yeah.
22.
And so I just say that to say, like, Chuba Hubbard, one of the guys that didn't complain about production. He had to work behind Christian McCaffrey. He had to work behind Deontay Foreman a little bit. He had to split reps with Miles Sanders. I mean, just really a guy that didn't complain, stayed down and worked hard and worked himself into a contract. And
Yep.
then just the work that he's put in, he's one of the better running backs in the league. Like, no matter how y'all want to slice it or dice it, you can't name 10 running backs right now that are better than Chuba Hubbard. And I'm
They
not,
can't even name 7, bro. That's
yeah,
what I've been saying that shit. And niggas look at me crazy when I say top 5, but every week them rushing yard rankings come out, he's top 5, nigga.
yeah. And that's not to be biased. Like, you can give me like 10 names that's more popular than Chuba Hubbard that, people, hear their name a lot more. But if you actually go look at the film, go look at the stats, you're not giving me 10 guys that's better than Chuba Hubbard. Like, I just hate to tell you. It's
That's
just not
facts.
happening.
That's facts. I totally agree. I totally agree. Let's look at the injury report for the game on Sunday in Germany against the New York Giants. Let me pull that up really, really quick. Because there still are a good amount of names on the list. I will say that. There still are a good amount of names on the list. However, one sec. I typed in the Giants. My fault. I want to pull ours up because I know that it will take me to both if I do so. All right, here we go. Like I said, there still are a lot of names on the list. However, there are a lot of names that are going to be coming back. A lot of names that are questionable that we've seen be out for a longer amount of time than we would prefer. So it seems like we're kind of trending in the right direction. Like I said already, Ikem Ekwonu as well as Adam Thielen have officially been deemed out. But there also are a couple of names. We talked about DJ Wanham. He's officially questionable for the game on Sunday. We see him right here. He's been a full participant all week this week, so that's phenomenal news. Another guy that we mentioned earlier, Jordan Fuller, with a hamstring injury. He's been full all week, so we could potentially see his return. A lot of questionable tags. Jonathan Brooks, another guy that Panthers fans really have been dying to see what he has coming off of that torn ACL last year for Texas. He's been a full participant, and I think this is his second week in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you think he's
Participating.
actually going to play? Because I seen Dave Canales. He said something about him and DJ Wanham. He was like,
He said they're making it hard. Like
yeah. So
he speaks in code. That shit pisses me off. I will say that. Like, nigga, just tell us if they're gonna play or not, bro.
yeah,
Like, don't say they're making it hard. I don't know what that means. They're making it hard on us.
it makes
Like,
it
nigga,
seem like that their original plans were for them not to play them, but I think that just their progression over last week and this week is like kind of like they're healthy enough to play.
right,
But it's like, do we really, like, is it a necessity kind of thing?
right.
That's what
For
I think it
sure.
is, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, I would listen. A couple of weeks ago, I was saying don't even play Jonathan Brooks because I don't see the risk, or excuse me, I don't see the reward. The reward doesn't come close to what the risk will potentially be. But at some point or another, we have to see what the guy has, bro. And so if he's ready, if he's 100% ready, and that's how we feel as an organization, and that's how we feel as a training staff, yeah, let him go out there. Let's see what we have. I mean, excuse me, it's not like we're getting much production from our running back 2 position right now. So I mean, if he goes out that bitch and he runs for 4 carries for 5 yards, I mean, that's what we've been getting the whole damn season anyway. So what difference does it make? People, fans are going to overreact just because, like you mentioned earlier, we had other holes, whether it be defensively or offensively, that we could have potentially filled with that pick, that 39 pick or whatever it was that we had this past season. So people are going to overreact regardless. But if he comes out and he goes for 5 for 76, or he goes 5 for 8, regardless, there's going to be an overreaction. But I think that if he's ready, you got to roll him out there and go ahead and start letting him get those live bullets. That's just how I feel. How do you feel about it?
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think for the most part, I mean, at some point you have to see if the guy can play, because the ACL is not. I mean, obviously the medicine has gotten a lot better than it has been in the past, so it's not as difficult as an injury to come back from as it used to be. But also, it's a mental thing with a lot of people. When you get injured and you injure something to the significance of your ACL, especially when you're a running back,
Yeah,
it takes a lot of mental, like it's just a lot of mental training that you have to do in order to be able to come back and still think that you can cut the way you could, just be able to put your foot in the ground and go the way you could. So, I mean, if for anything, if it's not for us to see how he can play and what he can do, is for him. Like he
yeah,
has to be able to see that he can still do this and that he can still play, because a lot of guys were comparing him to Bijan or even saying he was better than Bijan when he was at Texas. So, I mean, if that's going to be the case, then why not put the guy in? We need to see some of that. And then
yeah,
with DJ Wano, I mean, we can just kind of look at his production of what he did in Minnesota. He's not really one of the guys that like jumps off the paper at us. But I mean, it would also be nice to see him get in the game too, like to see what he can do as well. Because I mean, he had like 8.5 sacks when he was in Minnesota that
yeah,
last year.
yep,
So I think that he can make an impact. But I mean, yeah, more of the story. I would like to see both of those guys get some kind of reps.
yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree wholeheartedly. Another name on the list, a rookie, another guy from that rookie class, Jaden Crumedy. He's been dealing with an ankle. We haven't seen him at all in any game action,
I forgot about
preseason, training camp, regular season. His training camp reps were extremely limited. Then he started dealing with that injury, with that ankle injury. He's been a full participant the past 3 days of practice. He has no designation, so we'll get to see him this week as well. So, that's exciting to me. That's exciting. It's good to see a lot of these names coming back, because then we're going to actually get a feel for what we have foundationally. That's the biggest thing that I need our fan base to start thinking now, because playoffs are out of the picture. A divisional title is out of the picture, whatever the case may be. So now we just have to see what we have going forward. We just have to see what we have going forward, bro. So, when you get guys like Jaden Crumedy, Jonathan Brooks, when you have guys like that coming back, that's great. That's great. So we can see what we have. Are they killers or are they not? Because if they're not killers, unfortunately, we don't need them around. And even if they are around, we know what we need to address in free agency as well as in the draft, because you unfortunately just simply don't have what it takes to get the job done. Simple as that. I mean, we don't have time to beat around the bush any longer. But this is what the Carolina Panthers injury report looks like. To Tavion Sanders dealing with a wrist and an ankle. But he was a full participant yesterday. He has no tag going into the game. Lonnie Johnson, special teams guy. He doesn't get many reps on that first team defense, so he's not really a guy that we'll jump too much into. Um, but he has a questionable tag going into the game, as well as Tommy Tremble. I mean, I love Tommy. I think that the injuries that he's had to start this season off, they set him back significantly. I've been on record multiple times saying that I felt like this coaching staff had a lot in store for him this year, just based on what I was hearing over the spring and things of that nature. And unfortunately, he hasn't been healthy enough for us to see that come to fruition. And to be honest with you, after what I seen from JT last week, I mean, at this point, I just want to continue to see JT grow.
Yeah, I don't think
Excuse me.
there's a problem keeping JT as a starter. I would love that, but I mean, if we're talking about getting into futuristic things, I would still love to keep Tommy and get Ian out of here. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we have to figure out what the fuck we got to do with Ian Thomas, bro. I honestly, if I never hear his name again, with all due respect, I'm not gonna be upset nor mad. We gotta figure out how to get him gone, honestly. Um, and look, this list is extreme as well. Well, not really. Not really.
You're
Not
Slayton out.
really. Is he?
Yeah, he's out.
Oh, because he's still in protocol. I see that. Okay, so Darius Slayton is down. Dexter Lawrence, he has no tag. He popped up on the injury report earlier this week. I saw that actually when it happened, and I wasn't moved because I just felt like I knew it was Cap. Um, and yeah, they have Darius Slayton out officially. That's about it. Everybody else seems as though they could potentially be able to go. And honestly, none of these names really jump off the fucking paper anyway, because they're not really impact players in my opinion. Like a lot of these names on this list, we don't have to worry about, and we really don't need to worry about them just because it's just like whatever. Eric, we are live. What's up? What's popping? You asked like you had a question for us or something. What's cracking? But yeah, so that's our injury report. Again, it's good to see the Carolina Panthers beginning to get a little more healthy as time goes on.
Hey,
what's up?
UNC done took the lead.
Yeah, I seen that.
It was down 20. They was down 20 at half. But that's another story for another day. I like to see.
You know what that kind of tells me? You know what I feel? Like this is just my opinion. What I feel in my soul. That means they done got the cheating. But
that's crazy. They
and then when I pull up the stats and I see 27 free throws to 13,
Yeah, because I know you didn't turn on none of the game. So if you would have turned on the game, I mean, them niggas was hacking at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, they was hacking at the beginning, and then the refs got to the point where they just said, "Fuck it, we gonna stop calling." So I mean,
well, and shout out to y'all. You still got an uphill battle. You act like you don't want it. I'm disgusted because that's gonna fuck off my ticket.
Oh, you faded us?
Faded you how? I have Kansas covering 7. Did y'all not hammer Kansas?
I mean, I didn't. I never bet against my niggas. And honestly, the way I feel, if you bet against them on any ticket, I pray you lose. I told somebody that today.
As you should. I
mean, USC ain't beat Kansas in like 20-some years. And they was like, why would I go against history? I said, well, honestly, I just pray you lose everything you put on that ticket.
It's okay because I'm up in a couple. I need Kansas to cover that 7.5 though. I need them to get the fucking job done because I got a 2-leg with them right now, with them and LeBron to score 24 or more, and then I got on a separate ticket. This was the Fanatics joint that I put in. This is not a plug neither. You bet who you bet with, but got them, and then I got the Suns money line for plus 115, and they're up 13 at half right now. So, we could be potentially having a good night, but I need Kansas to get the job done. And if they can't do that, then they just ain't worth shit. Simple. Let me see. What else do we have? I think that's it, bro. I think that's really all personally I have. Would you like to give a prediction?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been thinking about this for probably like the last 2 to 3 days. And I thought that I would come in here with something different. But I have us winning this game. Not gonna lie. I have us winning this game. As far as a score prediction, I'm gonna go 27-23.
Okay, I'm not mad at it. Fortunately, you've changed my opinion today. You changed my opinion tonight. I think we can get the job done. Defensively, we're just, not even necessarily defensively. As a team, from a whole team standpoint, we're just going to have to play a lot better than we did last week. And listen, I know that wins over the past 3 years have been few and far between for the Carolina Panthers, so it's hard to come on here and be picky. But, unfortunately, I've seen the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, and I know what it looks like to be the highest of the highs. And last week, that was not that. Like, it was phenomenal that we got a win, but if you go look at our game review, like, I wasn't really turned up like that because it was just so nasty. I would love to see a completely different ball club overall, And I would love to see domination. I don't know if that happens, but I'll say give me Carolina 27-17. Give me Carolina 27-17.
Damn, you went from us losing to us winning by 10?
Yeah, just because you made a phenomenal point about Daniel Jones and how he's just sorry as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, he really.
But I think that we're gonna have our hands full with Tyrone, bro. I
Yeah,
really do.
I mean, we could, but honestly, I think we'll put him in the dirt.
What are you setting it at? Do you want to go ahead and make a little friendly wager?
And what? Tyrone's yards?
Yep, and you have to take into account that Motor is back.
The who's back?
Devin Singletary.
I mean, that doesn't move me. You tell me what you setting it at. And what I will say before you even say this, I know last week was a win, but it wasn't a good win. But like Nick Saban said, these are one of the wins that you love as a coach because you know the shit was terrible. Your team was still able to pull out the win, and there's still a lot of coaching to be had in there. So
very true.
I think with that, I mean, they can come out looking like a totally different team. Who knows? But yeah, you tell me.
I mean, hey, listen, that's a great point. That's a great point. A win is a win at the end of the day, and you're absolutely right. As a coach, you do love to see things like that. Because if you didn't play well and you still won, that means you're trending in the right direction, which is what I've been trying to tell y'all about Dave Canales this whole time, bro. Give him time. I really, really pray to God himself that Dave Tepper does not rush this one because I think we have something special. I really, really do. I think Dave Canales is going to be all right, and I think that front office right now with Dan Morgan at the helm, I think that shit is going to be solid. I really, really do. What am I going to set Tyrone's number at? 64.5.
Man, I think he goes over that.
Okay, cool. Do you want it to go higher? I mean, did you expect it to be higher? I just told you Devin Singletary is back.
If you would have said it at 70, then I would have.
So 70. 70, nigga. Now what?
That makes me feel a little better.
AK has 66 in the first quarter and like 3 possessions.
And what I tell you, he's just not AK, bro. I hate to tell you, he's just not AK.
He can't get 70?
He had 66 last week.
Tyrone did?
Yeah.
Against who?
Washington. Washington's front 7.
Better than ours.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So he can get 70 easy. Do you want to do something?
What do you want to do? I'm taking the under.
Dinner Monday night. But I got like a $15, $20 budget max. So, I mean, you do with that information, whatever you want to do with it.
Okay, I mean that's fine with me.
Cool. Let me go through some of these comments before we wrap up. I know I said an hour, and I think we did pretty good. 9:02. JJ is known to use no. Dylan, stop creating that. Stop trying to create that fucking narrative, bro. It's just simply not true. DJ said 35-17 Panthers. Bryce throws 4 touchdowns. I mean, I have a better chance at seeing a fucking pig fly through the sky and hell freezing over before Bryce throws 4 touchdowns. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Shout out to you because I've been seeing you plugging the subscribe button for sure. Smash the loud. Hey, shout out to Dom, bro. Dom, shout out to you, bro. We might got to hook you up with some shit. Might got to make you a moderator or something. I like the way you do business. XL has looked good so far, but how do y'all feel about Canales failing to get him out in space so far? I think, and you can kind of, I guess, think about your answer while I go through this just very, very briefly. I think it's been a challenge just because, I mean, look, bro, you've had 2 different quarterbacks starting. You had a wide receiver, one in Deontay Johnson, who has played, and now he's, out in Baltimore. You had Adam Thielen, who, was starting the season, played the first 3 games, and then went on IR. So there's been a lot of, in my opinion, there's been a lot of moving pieces. Xavier Legette has looked solid. He has looked solid. I don't think he's looked phenomenal. I don't think he's looked outstanding. I don't think that he's looked generational. Um, but I think that as a coach, it kind of makes it a little more difficult when you have all of those moving pieces. And there are a lot of moving pieces in that wide receiver room for the Carolina Panthers and have been for the duration of the season. And then, like I said, when you take into account that you've had two different quarterbacks, that changes shit as well. It really, really does. So I think we just have to give him time, bro. Like I'm really, really today, and this could change tomorrow because y'all know how I am. But I'm just really, really, really in a patient mood right now. I'm in a patient mood. We just have to see. We have to give guys opportunity to show us that, you know, they either have it or they don't, and we have to give our coach Dave Canales the opportunity to continue to scheme things up for Xavier Leggett. Because to be honest, he has tried to get him in space, but at times it works, and he looks like a genius, and at times it doesn't. You know, so I think that just comes with the growing pains and just you having a first year guy as a head coach and you having a rookie wide receiver. I do think that there will be a conscious effort to continue to attempt to get him out in space. And we just have to give it time. You know, we're only 9 weeks into the season, bro. And this is a brand new head coach with a brand new wide receiver and a wide receiver, like I said before, you know, week 4 was wide receiver 3 or 4 on a depth chart. So just give it time. Just give
Yeah,
it time.
I would kind of say the same thing, especially when you go from being like the second, third option to now being the number one option. I think it looks a little different when the coach is able to scheme up plays, especially for a guy like Xavier Leggett, because now he's also your downfield guy as well. So it makes it a little difficult to, I guess, to really get him in space at this point in time. But I think as you get guys like Adam Thielen back and things like that, it'll make it a little easier to, be able to, get him out in space a little more. So I think, like you said, it's just been a change in the offense. It's been a lot of changes that, I mean, Dave Canales can't stick to one game plan at this point because there's so many different niggas rotating in or out. Maybe that in regards if that's injury or getting traded, like it's just been too many moving parts.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Dom said, I think Brooks had the or Brooks can be better than what Foreman was for us. Do you have anything to say to that?
I don't disagree. I mean, just because I think that he can be more effective in the passing game. We know Deontay Foreman was more so like a bruiser back. I don't see Brooks as that kind of guy. So I think that he can provide more value in the passing game, and he's a lot quicker. Obviously, we don't know exactly what we're going to see coming out the ACL, but I think he's a lot quicker. But I also think that guys like Deontay Foreman are valuable in this league. Not comparing him to Derrick Henry, but if you look at the way Derrick Henry runs the ball, uh, people get tired of tackling that nigga. I'm not gonna lie. If you've
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
played football and just had played against a big running back, like that shit gets tiring just hitting that nigga all game. And so I think that guys like Deontay Foreman is valuable, and that served a great purpose for our team because you can run him downhill, and then people get tired of trying to tackle him, and then you throw Chuba in there. And
Yep.
so, like, I don't disagree with it, but I mean, I can see both. I like both running backs.
Facts. And then wrapping up here, this will be the last one that we acknowledge. Um my bad. Uh damn, I lost it. Fuck. Oh, Dom said I think Jimmy Horn Jr. can be better than Jonathan Mingo. I mean, who am I to disagree with that? We just read out Jonathan Mingo's stats, and to be quite frank, it's not that difficult to be better than Jonathan Mingo if you're a wide receiver in the NFL. And I think Jimmy Horn does have what it takes to be a good NFL wide receiver. So I'm not mad at that comment by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, he gives me Zay Flower vibes.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I think that, and not to like try to compare them to, but that's like if I have to compare a guy in the NFL that's most comparable to him, he gives me Zay Flower vibes. But yeah, like you said, I don't think it's hard to be better than Jonathan Mingo. Like I
Yeah.
said at the beginning of the podcast, he's ass. So I mean, you can just come in here and do your job, bro.
Yeah,
Like literally,
we're gonna
just
set
come
you
in
up
here
for success.
and
Just
catch
win.
fucking 10 passes and score a touchdown, and you're literally better than Jonathan Mingo.
Literally,
Like
literally. Also, I saw somebody make the comment that I'm about to let you go, bit, bro. Actually, if you want to get off now, you can. I know y'all got what, like 3 minutes left.
yeah, I
I
just
know
see
you want to catch that.
Drake missed a free throw, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say just real quick. I saw somebody say that me and you should do a mock draft. We will dive into our mock drafts. I'm just under the belief, like the way I like to approach things. And Terrence can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. But for me personally, I'm not going to be making any mock drafts until the end of the year because I like focusing on what's right in front of me. I think it's I think it's way too early. A lot of these guys, we're not going to be able to see what they really are about until the playoffs and bowl season. And further down in conference play. So that's kind of the way that I like approaching it. But we definitely will be running back our bracket challenge. So make sure that you are following on Instagram and Twitter as well, because we're going to be running that back our bracket challenge where we probably had about 30 content creators and fans alike doing a bracket challenge where we had everybody do their mock drafts and do whatever they wanted to do and submit the one that they felt was the best. And we set it up during March Madness and we ran it like a tournament style bracket play. And we will be running that back. And this year is going to be bigger and better than last year. So just be on the lookout for that. We're going to be doing that probably in March again, February or March, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of when that's when my mock drafts will begin to come out. And I'll make sure that we release more than we did last year, just because I felt like we could have did a little bit more. But yeah, too early for me. Now, if you talk to Dylan might be able to give you some. Dylan might, he's been doing mock drafts, I want to say, since 3 or 4 weeks ago. So you tap in with Dylan, make sure to follow on X, and you'll be able to find something with the FPFO brand attached to it in regards to the mock draft for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm under the same belief just because I feel like in most cases, 2 or 3 weeks ago, most people would have been like, oh, go reach for a wide receiver. And then you have Jalen Coker doing what he's doing at this point in time. So I feel like the mock drafts can be a little tricky this early. I mean, they're always still fun to do. But I mean, at the same time, it's like to be more realistic, I think you kind of have to wait until the end of the season because you still have guys that can pop. And guys that can, like show potential that, what you might have had on the draft at the start of the season might not be the same guys on the draft towards the end of the season. So
and we don't know where we're going to be drafting. Like everybody has made the assumption that we're going to be drafting number 1 overall, but I hate to tell y'all, there's a shit ton of 217s in the NFL right now. So, and if we just so happen to beat one of them on Sunday in the New York Giants, then the conversation is completely different and your approach is different and everything like that. So for me personally, it's just way too early. All of that being said. And obviously Terrence has the same feeling in regards to that. But that'll do it for us. We went a little bit over. I wanted to keep it to 70. We went 72, so I don't hate it. But we all, as always, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And we will talk to you guys on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on, tap in with us on socials as well as our DSPs. We'll talk to y'all very soon. Have a great weekend. Keep pounding.